Patrick Bet-David exposes Angel Reese, says she'll never be Caitlin Clark. Angel Reese stunned everyone by hinting that WNBA players might walk off the court if they aren't paid what they believe they deserve. She's called for a strike, yes, a full-on we won't play until we get more money kind of move. But there's a twist. The league that she's demanding a bigger paycheck from, it's been losing money since the day it opened its doors. And we're not talking about pocket change. This is tens of millions of dollars in the red year after year. So how exactly can you demand a raise from a business that can't seem to cover its own operating costs without help from the NBA? That's the key question fueling an explosive debate among fans, analysts, and even other players. Some say Angel is a fearless crusader. Others call her out of touch. Meanwhile, a new star named Caitlin Clark is quietly pouring rocket fuel on women's basketball popularity, yet somehow she's catching flack for it. Tonight, we're unpacking the drama that triggered Patrick Bet-David's legendary on-air rant, the economic reality that keeps the WNBA afloat, and why a potential strike might be the best gift the NBA ever gets. Stay with me. Once you see how the numbers really line up, you might just question whether the WNBA can survive at all. The threat that shook social media. It all started with a single, straightforward comment. If we don't get paid what we deserve, we'll sit out. Angel Reese, who's quickly become one of the most talked about players in women's basketball, made this statement and set social media on fire. Within hours, it went viral across sports blogs, Twitter feeds, and ESPN panels. Everyone had an opinion. Some fans applauded her for demanding respect. Others thought it was laughably unrealistic. And then Patrick Bet-David chimed in. If you haven't seen his fiery segment about Angel's pay complaints, let's just say he didn't sugarcoat anything. He told her to sit down, open her calculator, and face the harsh reality of league economics. Before long, the conversation spiraled from a single player's gripe to a much larger issue. Is the WNBA in any position to be giving raises, let alone surviving long-term? The rookie paycheck Angel Reese hates Angel Reese's frustration is partly rooted in a paycheck that feels insultingly small by professional athlete standards. She admitted that her rookie salary, around $74,000 a year, doesn't even cover her rent. Now, for most people, $74,000 is nothing to scoff at. But in her mind, it's a slap in the face. She played for LSU, captured national attention, and pulled in a whopping $1.8 million in name, image, and likeness (NIL) deals before she even stepped onto a WNBA court. Think about that. College endorsements paid her more than 24 times her rookie WNBA salary. That's jarring for fans to process. People who don't follow women's basketball religiously are asking, wait, how could a 20-something college star be making so much more off shoe deals and brand sponsorships than from playing actual pro ball? The answer lies in a single, unavoidable fact. The WNBA doesn't generate enough revenue to match the marketing hype of its biggest personalities. Angel's brand apparently sells more than the league can pay. In her eyes, that's reason enough to demand more. But the financial ledgers say otherwise. Patrick Bet-David's brutal reality. Check Patrick Bet-David, host of the Valuetainment podcast, delivered a wake-up call that cut through the noise. He pointed out that the WNBA loses around $10 million, some sources say up to $50 million per year, and it's been hemorrhaging cash since its inception in 1997. So, for a player like Angel Reese, still new to the league, to march in and threaten a strike isn't exactly a powerful bargaining position. If an organization's revenues don't keep pace with its costs, it doesn't have profit to distribute. And if it's relying on an external lifeline from the NBA, that means there's not even a real pie to fight over. Instead, there's a pot of money from the NBA, which has historically subsidized the WNBA to the tune of millions each season, just to keep it afloat. Patrick Bet-David took it a step further, highlighting that if WNBA players truly decide to sit out, the NBA might actually save money. Less overhead, fewer operating costs, and ironically, the potential for a slight financial upside if the league scales back games that nobody's attending. It's harsh, but business is numbers, not feelings. Why other leagues can strike and the WNBA can't yet. Sports fans know that strikes aren't new. The MLB had one that canceled the World Series in 1994. The NBA had a lockout in 1998 that resulted in a shortened season. The NFL has had multiple work stoppages, including one as recently as 2011. Each time, the players in those leagues walked off the job because they knew the money was there. They wanted a bigger share of enormous revenue streams. Major League Baseball rakes in billions. The NFL makes upward of $17 billion per year. The NBA is rumored to clear $10 to $12 billion, depending on the season. These leagues can survive short-term labor disputes because their biggest problem is splitting a massive pie. The WNBA, on the other hand, doesn't have a giant pie. It has a negative balance sheet. Operating costs are higher than revenues, so when Angel Reese says, "Give us more or we sit," the fundamental question is, more of what exactly? There's no hidden vault of WNBA profits. Even with growing attendance, something we'll talk about soon, the league is still trying to climb out of a 25-year financial hole. Understanding the NBA's role, aka the Big Brother problem. Ever since the WNBA was formed, the NBA has served as its safety net. Historically, it funnels in anywhere from $10–12 million each year just to keep the lights on. Why? Partly it's a PR move that says, we support women's sports. It's also about brand synergy, expanding basketball to a larger audience, fulfilling a moral mission, and trying to cultivate female athletes who can develop the sport. But not everyone sees it as purely altruistic. Some critics claim the NBA is just collecting a tax write-off, or at least building some goodwill with sponsors. Either way, the WNBA is living on borrowed money. Think of it like a kid going off to college with a credit card still attached to the parent's bank account. The second that parent cancels the card, the party ends and the bills come due. This is the reality Angel Reese seems to overlook when she threatens a strike. If the WNBA truly had to stand on its own tomorrow, the league might fold in less than a year or drastically reduce salaries across the board. And that's not a wild guess. That's just how deficits and bills work in the real world. The Caitlin Clark effect. Why the WNBA is on a rise. Sort of. Now, amid all this doom and gloom, there's a beacon of hope named Caitlin Clark. If you followed college basketball recently, you already know she's a superstar at the University of Iowa, with a game so electric it draws comparisons to Steph Curry. Her deep threes, her pinpoint passes, her ability to take over a game. It's raised the profile of women's basketball to new heights. By the time Clark entered the WNBA, attendance spiked by 48% and ESPN viewership soared 170%. Those are the kinds of numbers that get everyone's attention. Merch sales? Up 61%, fueled heavily by fans who saw Clark's highlight reels and decided to invest in women's basketball for the first time ever. This is the moment the league has been waiting for. A marquee player who can capture mainstream attention the way LeBron James or Kobe Bryant did in the men's league. Fans show up in droves to watch Caitlin light it up, to the point that some games start selling out. It's proof that if you build a compelling narrative around a transcendent talent, revenue possibilities emerge. The tension, why some WNBA veterans resent Caitlin Clark, you'd think everyone in the WNBA would be celebrating the arrival of a ratings magnet. But the dynamic isn't always that simple. Behind the scenes, there's a simmering frustration among some veteran players. They see Caitlin Clark getting all this shine, deserved or not, and feel overlooked. Others worry that if Clark takes center stage, there won't be enough attention left for the rest of the league. Jealousy aside, it's a risky attitude. Patrick Bet-David bluntly said the WNBA should be lighting candles and praying Caitlin doesn't get hurt, because she's their ticket to mainstream viability. Without her, the league loses a massive chunk of the new audience that's finally tuning in. It's not entirely new for star players to arrive and overshadow the veterans, but in a league as fragile as the WNBA, you'd think more people would welcome a fresh set of eyeballs and a bigger fan base. Instead, some players see Caitlin's hype as a threat to their own brand, not realizing that her success lifts the entire league's profile. Lisa Leslie versus Draymond Green. The NBA-WNBA clash long before Angel Reese started airing her salary. Grievances. There was another heated exchange that caught the public eye. Lisa Leslie and Draymond Green. Lisa Leslie, a WNBA legend, suggested NBA players could afford to donate part of their salaries or skip a night at the casino to boost WNBA pay. Draymond's response was scathing. He argued that no one supports the WNBA more than NBA players. They attend games, promote them online, and consistently advocate for more viewership. This back and forth captured a growing tension. Some WNBA icons blame NBA players for not doing enough, while certain NBA stars believe they're already carrying the load and the league on their backs. In Draymond's eyes, the push for higher pay should start with making the WNBA profitable. Otherwise, they're just demanding more money from a pot that doesn't exist. A league on life support and the possibility of growth. For years, the WNBA's finances have been described as a zombie company scenario, constant losses offset by a wealthier partner. Critics claim the WNBA doesn't have to answer for its poor sales or marketing because the NBA always steps in as a safety net. That arrangement can only last so long. Eventually, even the most generous investor wants to see progress, or at least a pathway to profit. In the last 2 or 3 seasons, growth has accelerated. Attendance numbers are finally trending upward, thanks to fresh stars like Angel Reese, Aja Wilson, Sabrina Ionescu, and of course, Caitlin Clark. But does that translate into enough broadcast revenue, merchandise sales, and sponsorship deals to cover the league's operating costs? Not yet. The hole is still bigger than the new money rushing in. It's like bailing out a sinking boat with a shot glass. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert wants to expand the league from 12 teams to 14, possibly 16. She's banking on new franchises in major cities, hoping to capture fresh markets and sell more. TV writes, "That's an exciting plan, if the WNBA can keep its momentum going." But for every new expansion rumored, critics ask, where's the revenue coming from? How do you avoid doubling down on a losing formula? The strike threat. Why it might backfire on Angel Reese now. We arrive at the heart of Angel Reese's ultimatum. Pay us more, or we'll sit out. If you're a top-tier star used to racking up NIL deals in college, that probably sounds like a powerful move. But a strike is only powerful if the owners fear losing revenue that the players produce. If the owners lose less money by not playing, then the strike has zero leverage. To put it bluntly, the WNBA is so heavily subsidized that halting games might actually help the bottom line, at least temporarily. It's a bizarre reality, but that's what happens when a league depends on an external financial lifeline. The NBA wouldn't mind a short break from plugging all those budget holes. And it's not like fans are going to riot in the streets. Given that WNBA's mainstream presence is still relatively small, this could leave Angel Reese and other frustrated players in an awkward position. If they walk out and the owners shrug, there's no immediate path to better pay. Or if they choose not to walk out, they're essentially surrendering any hope of making a statement. The entire threat is built on a shaky foundation. The unexpected. Hero of women's basketball. It's easy to see why Caitlin Clark's rise has everyone buzzing. She's not just a good shooter. She's revolutionizing the way fans see women's hoops. She's dropping 30-foot bombs, dishing out highlight reel, assists, and putting on shows that rival what you see in men's basketball. Her presence might be the single most important factor for the WNBA's future profitability, but certain factions can't seem to embrace that. Rival players worry the league might become the Caitlin Show, overshadowing their achievements. Yet, the numbers don't lie. When she's on the court, TV viewership spikes dramatically, and people buy tickets. The solution seems obvious. Market the league around its biggest star. That's how the NBA thrived behind Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and Michael Jordan decades ago. Unfortunately, old grudges, internal jealousy, or plain ignorance could sabotage this golden opportunity. If Angel Reese, A.J. Wilson, and other WNBA faces choose to collaborate and build the hype alongside Caitlin, the league's entire profile could soar. If they make her public enemy number one, they risk alienating a wave of new fans who came specifically to see Clark. What it takes to actually get paid. Every major league that pays its athletes millions did so by growing a massive audience. The audience fuels ticket sales, TV deals, merch, and sponsorships. When that revenue skyrockets, players gain the leverage to negotiate bigger cuts. It happened in baseball when Babe Ruth turned games into sold-out spectacles, then later when Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa had their legendary home run chase. The NBA thrived when the entire planet tuned in to watch Michael Jordan. The NFL's jump in popularity coincided with new TV contracts and technological innovations, like the Red Zone channel. The WNBA is only now seeing glimpses of that potential. The path is there. Promote the superstars in ways that draw people in, keep them entertained, and turn casual viewers into hardcore supporters. Once you have consistent sellouts and strong TV ratings, you can push for revenue sharing that matches the NBA's 50% model. But you can't skip the steps. First, the league must stand on its own. Why this matters for women's sports. Women's sports across the board are experiencing a moment of unprecedented growth. Soccer, tennis, and even golf have all seen surges in interest, new sponsorship deals, and higher TV ratings. The potential is massive, and many fans believe it's about time. But there's a right way and a wrong way to elevate a league. The right way is to build it piece by piece, turning every big game into a marquee event, turning star players into household names, and ensuring fans leave the arena with an unforgettable experience. The wrong way is to skip the foundational steps and jump straight to demanding large salaries that aren't backed by actual revenue streams. That's what this Angel Reese saga is all about. She's fed up with seeing her paycheck pale in comparison to her endorsements. She's furious that the WNBA doesn't come close to the NBA's salary scale, but storms of frustration don't change a balance sheet. And calling for a strike might do nothing but speed up the league's demise, unless the WNBA quickly transforms its business model. The path forward or the end of the line. If there's a silver lining, it's that the WNBA is showing signs of life. Attendance up 48% in the past season, crossing the 2.3 million mark for the first time in 20 years. Merch, 61% higher sales, especially around new star players. TV ratings, rising on ESPN, with some games hitting over 1 million viewers. All of this momentum correlates heavily with new fan interest in players like Caitlin Clark. If Angel Reese can harness the same energy, turn her unique brand into a driver of ticket sales and watchability, she'll have much more bargaining power. Right now, critics say she's overshadowing her talents with social media rants about money she feels owed. Imagine if she partnered with Caitlin Clark, teamed up on philanthropic events or epic rivalry showdowns, and built storylines that casual fans couldn't resist. That synergy could be the difference between a new era for women's basketball and a slow fade back into irrelevance. Reality check, so let's bring it all home. Angel Reese's demand for better pay isn't wrong in spirit. Everyone wants to earn what they feel they deserve, but demanding more from a league that runs on NBA handouts doesn't exactly spark fear in the owners. If the WNBA's biggest star is truly Caitlin Clark, then you'd think the rest of the league would rally behind her success, not resent it. Ultimately, there's a moment of truth on the horizon. Can the WNBA capitalize on its biggest wave of popularity to date? Can players like Angel Reese, Aja Wilson, and Caitlin Clark come together, push the league forward, and prove their worth by filling arenas and driving TV deals? Or will infighting, jealousy, and misguided calls for strikes turn fans off before the league even has a chance to stand on its own 2 feet? The tension is building. The numbers don't lie. More fans are watching now than ever before. This is the time to grow the business, not tear it down. Angel Reese might talk tough about sitting out, but if the strike actually happens, the WNBA's accountants might be the only ones breathing a sigh of relief. What do you think? Are WNBA players justified in demanding a raise, or is it financially impossible until the league stops bleeding money? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest in sports drama. And if you're curious, what happens if Caitlin Clark really takes over? You'll want to see our next video popping up right now. Because at the end of the day, it's not enough to just want more. You have to build the game until it can afford to pay you. If Angel Reese and the league don't get that message soon, the WNBA might become just another cautionary tale about what happens when ambition outruns reality.